I want to make this video really quickly, just talking about kind of what advice I can give to people just starting out. I talk oftentimes about kind of like how to get to the next level and all this stuff, but I rarely talk about like what I would do if I went just 2 years ago, just getting right back into business. I'm kind of at a stage right now where there's been a lot of development, there's been a lot of progress, a bit more consistency, a lot more growth, and this coming 2026 is going to be a massive, massive year for me and a lot of people around me. However, if I had to start, if my goal is just to make as much money as possible, but more importantly, if you're, let's say, maybe from the age of 16 to 2021, even, and you just want to get into business, like you want to not just get into business and like get lucky and make a bit of money, you actually want to start understanding and learning the fundamentals, the way business works. So, how X leads to Y leads to Z, how you actually build a great product, how you solve problems, how you do sales, how you do marketing, how you do fulfillment, how do you network, how do you manage a team, how do you lead, how do you do all this stuff. Here's kind of what I would recommend doing, and this is what I did. And there's a couple of things I would do differently for sure if I had to go back. Now, I will just be very clear cut. And if this isn't the kind of video you want to watch, click off right now. But I'm going to talk about starting off with sales simply for the reason that there's two things it does for you. One, the skill is incredibly valuable. So sales is something you apply to everything in your life. I laugh with one of my friends who's an electrical engineer right now in university, and we were talking about how, he was recently, reading about studies, he has to do research, exams, all this stuff, and how he learned that even some of the most popular studies that are influential in his industry are the ones which are told effectively, the ones which have a good story, the people who actually go the furthest politically and make improvements and innovations and developments in their space, even scientifically, are the ones who are able to sell, the ones who can tell a great story and convince others to follow their lead. Not just the ones who have the best research, best statistics, best information, the ones who can actually communicate it effectively. Right. So sales is such a fundamental skill in life, and especially in business. There is not a single business on this planet that functions without sales. Maybe there's one or two that I've never heard of, but the vast majority, 99%, which is probably the percent in which you are going to operate if you're trying to get into business, it requires sales. The most fundamental sales skill is being on a call, talking to a prospective buyer and you being a prospective seller. Having that conversation, being able to get somebody from not being, in a buying position, having a full 30, 40, 50, 60-minute conversation and getting them to literally give you their credit card on the call. It's not the easiest thing in the world. It's very simple, though, to develop. It's not rocket science. It takes a lot of practice and dedication. Number two, it puts money in your pocket. The reason I'm now in a position where I'm able to begin working towards an AI agency, the reason I'm able to start, if you've seen videos I've uploaded, I'm talking about, testing receptionists and all this stuff. I'm able to do this because, and this isn't a flex, I'm just saying, this is just, it allows you to save money. If you want to stack cash, if you want to bootstrap, if you want to be able to be self-funded and not have to rely on massive loans or investors, which is also possible, and if you want to learn how to build a startup, something from scratch, you're going to need funds and definitely skills, right? There's definitely the way of buying a business, and that's something I'm very much so looking into now, and buying a small business, growing it, solving problems, just selling it later on to private equity. Like that is something that's amazing too, and some people do it. But for the people who want to learn all the skills from zero, sales is amazing because you develop something extremely fundamental and important. It's foundational for the rest of your business career. Number two, it puts a lot of money in your pocket. Sales is all about money. That's the reason why they make, salespeople can make decent money. And obviously it doesn't even compare to other careers such as like, investors or bankers. Those people they're even more involved with money, that they make even more. But I do want to remind you that when you are around something that you're looking for, you begin to attract it, you begin to acquire it. And sales is very much so related to money. Like that's what you were talking about, buying and selling, buying and selling, buying and selling. So being a salesperson will 110%, if you give it 2 to 3 years, like I give you a promise right now, unless you're just not trying or you're one in a million and you just don't have the cognitive aptitude to develop the skill, you will make good money if you spend 2 to 3 years going full time in sales. That allows you, right, to get to a point kind of like me where you can continue to do sales, but in your free time, if you're, industrious, if you're ambitious, if you're somebody who wants to go out and build and increase their income and do and hit bigger goals, you can now put your eggs into a different basket and you can continue to develop the skill and something that's never going to go away. You got to keep the sword sharp, but you can definitely go into other ventures and succeed. Now, I do want to touch for all the people on how to get into sales, because there are some people who may be watching this and you ask yourself, great, how do I actually get into sales? Like, where do I start? Number one, give yourself 2, 3, 4, 5 days, zero agenda. Don't, don't expect to make any money. Just go out and research sales. I made a lot of videos on my channel, and I can highly recommend watch one of the videos. I'll link in the description. I spent about 40, 50 minutes describing everything you really need to know about sales. It's a great video to start, right? It gives you a lot of really, really good, valuable information. But I would go out and watch guys from 7th level like Matthew Ryder, Jeremy Miner, Kyle So. Learn from those guys, Kurt Udale, Bill Walsh, all these names I'm naming, write them down, Johnny Mao. Go and watch their videos because they have some really, really good content. I learned from someone named Dylan Blues, who's amazing. He taught me so much. Misha Perov. He also has great content on his YouTube. Go and watch those videos and just start to absorb information, take notes, learn, understand the process. Remember, what you're learning is how to have a specific conversation, getting from point A to point B. That is really what you're mastering. There's not all that much more that you really have to get good at. You'll learn it as time goes on, like the marketing, the automations, doing triage calls, setting, all that will come with sales. After you learn that skill, you need to do two things. You need to practice, right? That way you can actually, because watching videos does nothing. You have to practice. Practicing by yourself is really hard. You can use some AI, like there's Kendo AI. You could talk with ChatGPT, and it's possible to, it's called role playing or mock calls. It's even if that's all you've got, do it. But I highly recommend going into Facebook groups, going to school groups. I don't have one myself. I was going to build one, but I decided not to. But just go out and do some research. There's some great free groups. And even better, go ahead and DM some people. And it's a big part of number two. I'm talking about developing the skill. And number two is going to be finding opportunities. Developing the skill is going to be you being able to practice it and then demonstrate it, right? It's going to be you learning the skill and then being able to demonstrate it. So learning the skill is going to be you doing role plays and mock calls. Try and get into Facebook groups and trying to get into school groups where you can meet people and practice with them. But I highly recommend, when I did my role plays, there was actually, I joined a mentorship. I paid $5K US. I spent about 6 months there. I did mock calls. I did group calls, all that good stuff. And for a lot of people who are serious about getting into sales, go buy a mentorship. There's a lot of them out there. Do your research. Do it. It's really good. It's really valuable. And if you really want to learn from me, you can DM me possibly. I might be able to offer you some one-on-one coaching, but not officially. But I highly recommend finding 1 or 2 partners that you can repeatedly practice with who are better than you. Like, genuinely, someone who is, not in a role yet, someone who's looking to get a job, or someone who's had very little sales experience, but they might be a bit better than you. Try and develop a schedule with that person and role play with them over and over and over and over, and take that journey with them. That is one of the best ways to role play, because if you're always looking for a new partner, it's gonna be very inconsistent. And one thing that wasted a lot of time for me was I'd role play one day with someone who was great and who got me better, and one day with someone who was awful and who wasted my time and they didn't know what they were doing. Right? So definitely do make sure you find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe people maximum. Get their WhatsApp, get their Facebook, get their phone number, talk to them repeatedly, provide value, give them time to role play. You'll get your time to role play, and just do it in practice. You want to be able to record some of your best sessions, and that's what you're going to use for applications. Now, this is part 2, and it's going to help with number 1. To be able to find these people, to be able to join these groups, you need a personal brand. You need to post something. So think about you going to the gym, think about you reading books, think about you practicing sales, and the other kind of business stuff you've done. Literally document all of it, put it on an Instagram profile, on a Facebook profile, post it. You need to market yourself as someone who's like serious. You need to market yourself as a closer. You need to market yourself as a salesperson, and that's going to create opportunity. I mean, some of the best opportunities I've been on have come through this YouTube channel, and have been through me posting on Instagram, and even on TikTok. I had so many amazing people reach out to me. I coached them, I helped them out a little bit. That's all through my content that I posted right when I started sales, and even before then. So that is one of the number one things I can recommend that you do. If you want to make a ton of money with sales, you need to be on a great opportunity. Impossible to get on that opportunity without truly a great personal brand or some amazing marketing, or you're just an insane networker without any of it. But if you have zero skill, you have zero value to provide people, then forget it. You need to start posting, you need to start recording content. Literally just build in public. If you know what that is, go search up Dan Coe. He talks a lot about building in public. Do that. It's going to teach you how to really sell yourself even before you really have anything of value to provide. Right, so we covered taking a couple days and watching a bunch of content, beginning to role play with partners, and then recording it, building a personal brand. And then the next thing you want to do is, because you're probably going to be, there's so many different industries, but I highly recommend getting into info, selling either B2C. B2B is harder to get into at the start. I recommend B2C at the start. Business to consumer, B2B is business to business. So you're going to be selling products to regular, everyday, you know, 9 to 5ers, students, unemployed people sometimes. Like, that's who you're going to be selling to. So you could be selling like gym programs, like fitness coaching. You can be selling like biz ops, which is like how to make money with trading, or how to make money with Amazon FBA, or how to make money with drop shipping, or all this different stuff. That's biz ops. You could be coaching people on self development, so like anti porn offers, or like how to quit porn, or how to um, get in better relationships. Like, as a man, you can coach people on offers, how to like prevent divorce. Like, there's all these different offers which are like lifestyle or just like life coaching. There's offers on self development as well, which are like spiritual offers, which are okay. Um, there's a lot of different variety, but you should be selling something digital, something online, and some kind of service. So like, it's ideally you want to sell something where like they watch some videos on YouTube or TikTok from like an influencer or from some brand. They get to know a bunch about it. They hop on a sales call and they're ready to pay you and then start. You don't want to be selling something at the very start, in my opinion, if you want to really develop the skill quickly. That's like a very long sales process where you have to email them, you have to text them. That's more like B2B, higher level, expensive sales, 10, 15, 20K price point. That's what I'm doing now, and it's great, but it's not for people who are beginners, honestly. But you can still get good by doing B2C. And then go on Instagram, go on TikTok, go on Facebook, start DMing a bunch of people, find recruiters, right? There's a lot of really good guys out there. Jackson Bardsley is one of them. A lot of these mentorship programs have recruiters as well. Try and find sales recruiters on LinkedIn as well, is a good option. And DM these people, and sometimes they'll require a payment. Be a little bit wary of that. Some of them are legit, some of them are not. If you're willing to pay, just make sure you're paying someone who's legit so you can vet them before you really give them your money. But these recruiters will also help you find jobs. And the last part is interview. So if you've done enough sales training, the interview is really just to understand who you are, how you can help, what experience you have, and then oftentimes doing a mock call, doing a practice call with a sales manager. Show up, be the best version of yourself, and know that what's most important is just getting on a bunch of interviews. The first job is going to be the hardest to get. It's going to be the most stressful. After you get it, every single interview past that point, you can always jump on and say you've got experience, you've gone on this role, you've done this. So do just keep that in mind. There's no specific crazy tips I can give you for like completely killing it on the first interview, besides practicing, getting ready, talking with ChatGPT about the most common questions, practicing your answers for them, doing a bunch of mock calls ahead of time. And then if you have a sales manager, I just recommend, if you have their email, like ask them a couple questions in terms of like what they would want you to be ready for the interview. They'll oftentimes tell you if it's a first interview and you're gonna get to a second or a third interview. They'll usually tell you what to prepare for the next ones. That is really, I know it's kind of a long video. I'm gonna wrap it up here, but if you want to get into business, you're in your early ages, in your early years, you can still go to college, still go to university. I was doing construction, in the trades when I got into sales, and I was doing it part time and learning it. And just set aside some money. I recommend probably buying a mentorship, but you could still do it alone, and really just start learning it. And that's going to put money in your pocket. It's going to give you a skill, and then you will be able to jump into any business in the future with so much more confidence. It won't be easy. There's still going to be brand new things to learn, the way I am still learning every single day to this day. But it's the best advice I can give you. If I did the same thing, I think I would have been a little bit further ahead than I am now. But everyone's life is their own. I'm definitely not, regretful or remorseful of anything that I did. I'm happy with where I'm at, and what I've gone through. And I'm very excited to demonstrate with all of you what the next steps will be. Thanks for watching.